Welcome back. This is the second game against my brother in this best of five series. We both decided that it's best for us to um, it's best for us to increase the time limit to 4 minutes per person because we both like to play the game to the end and stick around to the end game. Excuse me. So yeah, moving forward, we're going to be having 5 minutes, 4 minutes, excuse me, per person. My opponent does bingo. That's a valid word. Um, I am not sure what I should play. Um, I think I can play prize because I want to block this triple, but I don't have anything good to play there myself. I have BD on my rack, which should play somewhere, I believe. Faxing comes down, which is a good play. BD, I do have BD, but a better play would be Bide because it scores more and gives me a few extra lanes to work with. And I do draw the blank. Like ending bingos are pretty likely in Scrabble, so I want to see if I can do something with that. Tent like I see, but I'm not quite sure if that's good. Net. Oh, I actually have net like. I believe that's good by itself. And it does play. Elk and EE net like should be good. Yeah, and my opponent does challenge it, and that turns out to be good, and so that's a good start for me. I do have equip on my rack. I also just have quip because I want to keep the E because it's an important tile. Quip does take a U, so Quipu is something that I have. So now that my opponent has opened the C lane or the triple lane for himself, I want to block this. So I think I'm going to go with up and keep the U for next turn for myself. Yeah, it seems like the only option. I draw pretty poorly. I draw two eyes. I was hoping to draw something good so that I can bingo, but that's sometimes how it goes. I do have peak keeping IIS, but I think that's a play worth going for. There's also quiz. It keeps the E, which is kind of important. Yeah, I think playing quiz is better because I want to keep the I for myself. I do have a bingo. So I do have itemize on my rack, but I'm not sure if it's going to play anywhere. Excuse me. This board is already pretty blocked as it is. Itemize plays with both the S and the Z. The good thing about that play is that it gives me a place for my bingo. I'm assuming that my opponent opened a spot because he's fishing for a bingo and he wants to create a lane for himself. I draw a bunch of scoring tiles, which is not particularly bad because on this board the chances of bingoing are pretty less now. I think this is the only lane available to bingo. My opponent fishes again. I do want to block this, but I don't have anything to block it with. I could play War up here, because even if my opponent does end up bingoing, the only thing this takes is an E. I don't quite have anything that blocks this, so I think I'm okay with letting him have it. Um, yeah, I think I can play War. Scores a decent amount. The rack leave is not too bad. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with yeah, I think I'm gonna go with War. I draw pretty badly. I'm assuming my opponent has good tiles at this point because he has fished for 2 turns in a row. So I'm fully expecting a bingo to come down. Um, I couldn't see anything that blocks the bingo. Looniest comes down. I think the only thing I have to play is Ho because um, yeah, because I have to score, and that this is the only thing that gets rid of 2 of the important tiles. Interesting. I do draw an 8 in drivings, but not quite. Um, but not yeah, not quite. You, I believe this take an S, um, which I draw for myself, which is really nice. Um, okay, my opponent draws the blank and uses an as an S. So we're pretty neck and neck. Um, I am a little bit behind on time. I can play dig. Which scores pretty well. Looking at the pool, it's pretty well heavy, so I don't quite mind taking the score here. And as expected, I do draw two owls, which is nice. Um, so I am up by 30 points. Not sure if faxing takes an S, but if it does come down to that, I am more than willing to try it. But oh, and my opponent does block it, so that leads me to believe that it uh does score 44 points, keeps 3 in the bag. Yeah, and this also takes a V, I believe. So I'm gonna try this. I'm expecting a challenge, and okay, it does come off. It does come off. So um, faxings is not good. Something to keep in mind for next time. Um, good thing is I had the last S, so I can score a little more. But um, I did go overtime, but that's okay in this turn because I think my opponent's gonna do the same. So we are gonna be back at a 30 point or roughly 20 point um, gap between us. I do have the time advantage over my opponent now, which is good. My opponent plays Fa, which is which is completely okay. Um, I don't think there's going to be a bingo coming down anytime soon, so uh, I can play Nori right here and set myself up with the S, but not quite sure if that's going to be really helpful. Um, interesting spot. Interesting spot. Um, so I think I'm actually going to play solve because my opponent has a D and um, yeah, my opponent has a D and this can go right here. So yeah, that's actually I'm happy with that play. Scores 22 points for me. I do now have I can play unit, which is a good um, play for me. My opponent has told on his rack. Unit was a good spot because it overlaps a lot of stuff, so it scores 22 points for me. Um, I did keep back the double R, but I think that's okay. Like at this point, because I did quite see a players that scores as high, and I do want the score. I'm gonna play Ur really quick. Yeah, because my opponent does have the DT on his rack. I have Ron and Amir. Oh, okay. My opponent cheekily passed and left me with only 1 second. So I do quickly play Amir, and I do end up winning the game. So the score is now 1-1. And yeah, stick around for the rest of the games because this is starting to heat